Okay, this is I think the third installment of the database grid series, I guess we can call it now. I've been recording a few different tidbits. If you haven't seen this before, I guess I can do just a quick introduction. This is Smart Mobile Studio, which is an Object Pascal, or Delphi if you like, uh, programming language and IDE, and it allows you to create HTML5 JavaScript-based projects. You can also create Node.js and various embedded projects as well, and it compiles to pristine JavaScript, and it does this thing where it actually follows the object-oriented rules and implements a VMT, or virtual method table. So you can do inheritance, and basically you get the full package. Okay, back to the grid. For those who have follow up on this, you know that I've posted a few tidbits about the grid, and it's getting pretty pretty fast and pretty cool. And then I tested it on mobile devices, and I took an older mobile device, which was an iPad 2, and it was quite slow on the mobile device. So in order to solve this, I had to come up with sort of a mechanism to make it go faster. And that is, of course, what I want to show you now. Now, before I start, I just want to mention that I've added a 1 second or 1000 millisecond delay to every activity. So every time it creates a row, it waits, 1 second, and the same happens to everything else. So, and the reason I've done that is because I want to show you what exactly is happening. So we dump out some status. So let's create the grid, right? And now you see pushing to stack, calling make, etc., etc. And you notice that each row was turning up here. What it does is that when you move to a position, or the starting position like it's now, it will start going through the rows. And if it finds a row that it isn't created yet, and that's the trick really, because you don't want to create 2,000 or 4,000 rows in one go, because then the application would probably crash, or it will be so slow that you couldn't use it for minutes. So the trick is that we only create what is visible. So it will go through the list and check, is this one visible? No, it isn't. Okay, pop that on the work stack right here, and it will continue like that. And then, of course, when something comes into the stack, it will call a procedure to process that, which is of course recursive. It will keep on calling itself. So it will realize one, check, is it more on the stack? Okay, realize that. But in order to ensure that the stack doesn't get too many members, for example, in this grid now we have 2,000. You can see that by the size here, 2,000 items. Let's see how fast we can just move through that. As you can see, you can move through pretty fast. But in order to ensure that the stack isn't overpopulated, right? Because this is 2,000 items. Okay. So if I move really quickly down to the bottom, that would mean actually that 2,000 items will be pushed on the stack, and it will take forever to create those items. So that will bring us back to square one. And what I do to avoid that is, of course, that every time you move, it will purge the stack of items that are beyond the visible scope here. So only the things that are visible or should be visible are actually allowed to be created, etc. And it's quite neat. So I'm also going to do some recalculation here, because traditionally you would if the thumb, or whatever you call it, that you grab the grab bar here, if it's less than 10 pixels in height, then you usually recalculate using fractions and stuff, so you get a larger one. But yeah, it's getting there, and this is when I run at full speed in on the iPad, it's actually quite usable. And of course, that's just the beginning. When this is done, then I will call that the desktop version, and then I will inherit out from that class and do one that uses the CSS3 GPU code to move things around. So yeah, it's getting there.